Hello and welcome to the United Stand, Manchester United versus Valencia in the Champions League. Now, some people are not excited about this game, and I don't really understand why, because there's been some key promises from Jose Mourinho. Jose Mourinho apparently also made a big promise about the January transfer window, which we'll be talking about in a few minutes' time as well. Very interesting and something that I did predict. But Jose Mourinho has promised that Andreas Pereira and Paul Pogba will start in this game against Valencia. Now, Valencia are not doing particularly well at the moment. They're 15th in the league. They've not had a very good start to the season, but they did come to Old Trafford and I think if they, their finishing was so bad, but they did run the game. It was when we were playing poorly. They are the home team, and it is a dead rubber game in the sense that young boys can't catch Valencia. Valencia can't catch us or Juventus. So us and Juventus go through. Valencia go into in the Emmerdale Cup, and but this game is there to be played. But people are, it's a dead rubber game. It really isn't, because this week is massive for Manchester United, and as you can see, that's my predicted lineup on the left hand side. But there's no guarantees that it will be that. My feeling about the team against Valencia is it's Wednesday night. Liverpool are playing tomorrow night, Tuesday night, so they've got 24 hours on us, and that's what we're working towards this week. So you should be excited. You might be. There might be an air of, trepidation. You're not looking forward to it in relation to Liverpool or the favourites, because they are. But it's Manchester United versus Liverpool. Our season, for me, it's over. But for some people, there is still a glimmer of hope. And to be honest with you, Sunday against Liverpool is... Notice how I nearly said Saturday and I changed it into Sunday. That is your last glimmer of hope. If we lose to Liverpool, then there is no coming back. We'll be double figures off top four. The only thing left is the FA Cup. So which I call the fuck all cup, because realistically the FA Cup's not what it used to be. So this week is massive for Manchester United, and the Valencia game is a momentum game. Now, I think the way that Mourinho will approach it is that most of the players that play against Valencia will not be playing in the Liverpool game. It's an opportunity to rest players. However, I think maybe 2 or 3 of them could play against Liverpool if they put in good performances against Valencia. And I think Paul Pogba certainly falls into that category. But as I said at the start, he has promised that Pogba and Pereira will start in this game. Where that leaves somebody like Fred, because I think McTominay will start as well. And as you can see, my midfield there is Pogba, Pereira and McTominay. I think Fred needs to start. So how does he start Pogba and Pereira? Does he not play McTominay? Does he play Pereira in a more advanced position? I think Pereira will come in for Matic. So, first time ever that Matic doesn't play a game for Manchester United, probably. But massive opportunity for Paul Pogba. Other big news coming out this morning that Manchester United have got no intention of selling Paul Pogba, which is pretty much what I've been saying for a while as well. People were saying in the summer, Pogba wants to go. No. Well, we're not going to sell him. Manchester United will not sell him. Not before the summer. And I do believe that next summer something big's got to happen in the Pogba-Mourinho relationship to resolve it, or we'll lose both of them, and that's what's going to happen. But Pogba, it's a tough game. It's a tough game on Wednesday night. I'm really looking forward to it, because it's a bit like those old League Cup games years ago when we used to actually play youth. I think we're going to see some players playing on Wednesday night that we like, and that's going to make it really interesting. Like Pereira's a player I absolutely love, and Mourinho, to be fair to him, did say he deserves to start this game. He's been absolutely tigerish in training, never dropped his head, deserves this start. So yeah, can't wait to see Pereira play. Pogba, all eyes on him. It's a win-win-win for Mourinho. If Pogba's poor, he can say, well, that's why I'm not picking him. If Pogba plays well, he can say, look what happens when I drop him. He's got Pogba by the you-know-what's, really. But the other positions, Romero's going to start. The back four's difficult. I think surely Valencia plays because Young and Dalot are ahead of him now. I think Eric Bailly will play, but I don't know what he's going to do with his centre-backs, but Chris Smalling will start against Liverpool, so I don't think Smalling will play. So I've gone Bailly with Bailly and Jones. I think Luke Shaw will play because Luke Shaw needs a game. And I'm actually concerned whether Luke Shaw starts the game against Liverpool. I think Luke Shaw or Dalot will be dropped because Ashley Young will definitely start. So that's one for the weekend to concern yourself with. Pogba, Pereira, McTominay obviously in the midfield 3. And then up front, I think Mata will play because I don't think Mata will play against Liverpool. I disagree with that, but I don't think he'll play Mata in a game like Liverpool when we're going to park the bus. What use is Mata in a team that parks the bus? So I think Mata will play against Valencia, one of his former clubs. And Martial, I think, will play because he didn't play at the weekend. And I think he's one of those players that can work his way into the team for Sunday. And again, Lukaku. I think Lukaku will play because Lukaku needs to play. Very interesting in the Evening Standard today, where Manchester United have told Lukaku apparently to get off the weights. Again, United Stand community, right. We've been talking about this for pretty much since the summer. Some of you wanted to call him fat. I kept saying, and others kept saying, he's not fat. How can he be fat? He's not been on holiday all summer eating bloody tacos. He's been in a World Cup. What he's done, he's gone in the gym and bulked himself up. That should never have been allowed to happen. The size of Manchester United, and I bet you thought I was going to say the size of Lukaku. The size of Manchester United, the club, the business, the brand. How have you let your number 9 bulk up so big that it's ruined his game? He's ruined his game. Lukaku will get better when he sheds some of this muscle, which he's been told to do it, because he's quicker, he's more agile, he's quicker in the box. He's too slow at the moment because he's too big. And it amazes me that Manchester United have allowed that to happen, but it's abundantly clear, absolutely clear that was the thing. It was never fat, it was muscle. He's been down the gym. He's been bulking up for something, I don't know, but he needs to get that bulk off, and United will be better off for it. I mean, it's not going to give him a first touch, I agree, but it will certainly help Lukaku and Manchester United. And I think, he needs to play against Valencia because he needs to build on the confidence. He's not been playing regularly. He's not scored many goals. Arital says, will we play 3-5-2? I don't know. I don't know whether we'd play a 3-5-2 in that game because it would limit his midfield options, and I think he wants to play 3 midfielders in this game. So, well, you can still do that, but 3-5-2 means you've got to play 3 centre-backs, and I don't think he'll want to play 3 centre-backs because so many of them are carrying injuries. I think that was a specific Arsenal thing. I think we might see the 3-5-2 against Liverpool. I would not be surprised, but Dalraj is on the toilet. What a way to watch the United stand. There's an analogy there, probably, or a metaphor. He bulked up for the World Cup, says Noah. Yeah, maybe he did, but it was stupidity. You know what? You think that football and footballers and football clubs are on a different level of intelligence to you because they earn a lot of money and they are icons. Trust me, they are not. I mean, who in their right mind said, yeah, go on, get down in the gym and bulk up? I mean, Lukaku doesn't just pop down, fitness first every morning for an hour and not tell anybody that he's doing that. He'll have Man United will know, Belgium will know. Who said it's a good idea for Lukaku to bulk up? I mean, it's going to clearly slow. What makes you slower? Weight. What's muscle? Weight. Why did they let him do it? Stupid. Absolutely stupid. He's already 6'3" and strong when he was in his Everton days and his first season at United. Why did we let him bulk up? It's a sackable offence, I think. Not for Mourinho. I don't think he's involved in it, but whoever's allowed him to do that is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Eric the Red, I think Scott McTominay will start in this game, but it really is a massive week ahead for Manchester United, and we are building towards that Liverpool game. That's what it's all about for me. So I'm very excited about the Valencia game. It's an opportunity for Andreas Pereira. I'm concerned about Andreas Pereira because his contract is up. I think we've got a year option, or it might even be up in the summer. How are we going to get him to sign a new contract when we've given him no game time? And I just hope on Wednesday night he has a good performance and he can get back involved in the first team where we can get him tied down to the contract we need to get him tied down to. I think he's a very, very good player and you should not be letting players of that quality go. So I'm massively excited about the Wednesday night game. And also, all eyes on Pogba. What can he do? Can Pogba force himself into that Liverpool team? Because I don't think we'll see Herrera start. We're not going to see Matic start. So that's 2 places gone. I don't think we'll see Fellaini. I don't think we'll see Lingard. So how does Pogba get into that Liverpool team? Mourinho said Pogba's going to have a really good performance against Valencia. So we'll see what happens with that. But it's a big game for Manchester United. And if Valencia have got their foot off the pedal, take your foot off the pedal, Valencia. The important thing is Manchester United don't take their foot off the pedal. We've got to keep some momentum. Yeah, we beat bottom of the league, Fulham. Wow. But let's go and win in Valencia because it's still a win in Valencia. It's still a big result if we get it. Let's take some momentum into this Liverpool game. Because I tell you what, the cycle of supporting United is very simple. You look at that Liverpool game for weeks and you say, we're going to get beat. What's happening to you at the moment? Because it's happening to me. The closer we get to that game, the more I start to think, well, it's a football game. We've got some good players. Who knows what can happen? But as we said last night, we've got to win this. We've got to win this game of football. There's a draw would be good, but we've got to win it. In the context of our season, I think a draw will lose places. I think the teams above us are playing good games. So that's about Liverpool. We'll be building up to that after the Valencia. The Valencia game for me, it's all about momentum. It's all about getting a win. And you know what? As well, it could be an eye-opener because do people really think we've solved all our problems because we beat bottom of the league? Valencia are a good football team, whether they play their reserves or not. They play. The Spanish teams tend to play in a certain way that causes us problems. Sevilla weren't doing fantastically well in La Liga last year, but they dominated us over 2 legs. Valencia not done well this year, 15th in La Liga. They came to Old Trafford and they played us off the park. They just couldn't score. So there's no guarantees. Alexis Sanchez is well and truly injured, gamer droid. There's nothing to say there. My prediction is I think it might be 1-1, to be honest with you. I'd like to see us win it, but I am really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to this week. I really am. I can't wait for that Liverpool game on Sunday, and I just want United to get. I've sort of, as I said last night, I've come to terms with the fact that Jose Mourinho is going to be our manager until we're not in the top 4 anymore, and we're not going to be in the top 4. So I know he's gone. Well, logically he's gone. How do you keep a manager that doesn't get you top 4? But that's what I'm sort of looking at now, because I don't think, even if we lose to Liverpool, he will be sacked, because I don't believe a manager can come in and do the job. Which brings me to something else I wanted to talk about, and maybe we can pick it up on the Discord show tonight when you'll be calling in, 8 o'clock, it's the call-in. But there was a story in The Sun today that I saw through the Manchester Evening News that United and Woodward and Mourinho have agreed on what they're going to go for in January. And then really does, forget who it's going to be. They're talking about Alderweireld, which for me worries me, because I think Spurs would love to get rid of him at the moment because I think he's on the decline, but that's my personal opinion. I can't see us getting Koulibaly or Skriniar, but it looks like we're going to go and get a centre-back in January. Now for me, that is massive, because Van Gaal got no money spent on him in the January and he was sacked in the May. And the club, there was some murmurings to get rid of Van Gaal around then, but it was nothing like what we've had with Mourinho. So why are the club going to give Mourinho money in January if they've got any intention of sacking him in May? It seems stupid. So how concerning is that to you, that the club are going to give Mourinho money? Does that mean they've got no intention of even sacking him in May? That for me would be the biggest thing, is that if he doesn't get top 4, he's got to go. And that can be May, but he's got to go. So why are you going to spend money on? Why are you going to give him money in January? Have we got a board so stupid that they think, oh, it's maybe our fault because we didn't give him a centre-back? One centre-back would not have solved our season. It really wouldn't. If you look at the goals, you look at the games, you look at the formations, it's a myth. The problem with Manchester United this season is the same as it was last season. We don't create enough chances. We don't press the ball. And that's not because of one centre-back. It never has been. So for me, I wouldn't spend any money in January unless you're going to go and get the marquee signing that any manager would want, like, Koulibaly. But if you go and get an Alderweireld and then you sack Mourinho in May and then a Zidane or Pochettino walks in and Pochettino goes, I just got rid of him because I don't want him from Spurs. It becomes an irrelevant signing. You can't go making signings that a new manager might not want. You can't get Lukaku. We've already got him, but you know what I mean. January, we can't be going signing these Mourinho-type players. You can't go and get Jerome Boateng. You can't go and get Alex Witsel. Real Mourinho signings that a next manager's not going to want. And that's what worries me. Why give Mourinho money in January when it's odds on he's got to be sacked? Just don't give him anything. But it looks like we're going to do it, which for me is a bit of a concern. But some of you might agree and just say, sod it, let's just do it, Mark. I did also just want to bring in something that's very topical at the moment. Now, I spoke about Paul Pogba yesterday morning. I did a video on Pogba. And I said it again last night, that to me, the hate that Paul Pogba gets is beyond football. And I don't know what it is. And a lot of people were talking about racism and saying, are you trying to imply that people are being racist to Paul Pogba? And I said, well, no, that's not what I'm doing. Although we've had somebody on the show who has said that before. And obviously it's been a very, very big weekend because of the Chelsea fan or fans, I don't know. I saw one of them saying something that looked quite racist towards Raheem Sterling. And this is kicked off in the UK quite rightly and quite bigly, if that's a word, this morning. And it got me thinking, and you know what? I think that the issue here is that hate is the problem. Hate is the problem, because I think that, look, I look at 30 years, well, less than 30 years ago, but say 25 years ago, I was playing for my school team. and we were in the semi-finals, and we were playing a team that was an inner city team, and my team was slightly more rural. And this was 25 years ago, right? So my school, I don't think there was a black person in my school. I remember there being two Pakistani lads in my school, but I don't remember any black people there. And that was 25 years ago. Now I look at the school that my kids go to now, and it's multicultural. You know, it's normal. But 25 years ago, that's just the world that we lived in. So we played this team that was in a city, and there was a lot of black lads in that team, and we played that game, and we lost. We won that game in extra time. It was one of the best games I've ever played. But there was a foul on me actually, and it all kicked off. And one of our strikers went up to one of their players angrily and said the N-word. Now the referee afterwards put it in his report, and our school, embarrassed, withdrew us from that tournament. Quite rightly. So as a young age, I was about 13, 14 then. At a young age, I got a very harsh lesson in one, you know, you can have your dreams pulled away from you through other people's actions. But two, that racism is totally and utterly unacceptable, and there are consequences for it. But going back to that incident and going back to the thing at Chelsea at the weekend, what was it that brought that racist activity out? Hate, aggression, a moment of frustration. And I think that is what society needs to deal with, because the hate is on the rise, whether it's on social media or not. Now, Patrice Evra, Manchester United legend for me, he's tweeted out about the Sterling thing today and said it's 2018 and we're still getting stuff like that. Absolutely spot on. But Patrice Evra went to Anfield with West Ham in 2018 and got booed. Why did he get booed? Because they don't like him because of the Suarez thing. What happened with Suarez? Suarez was racist to Patrice Evra. Racism is not acceptable. It is not acceptable. But there are a lot of isms as well that are bred out of hate. And when society needs to solve the hate problem, as far as I'm concerned, because the racism thing is unacceptable, but it's always going to be there until we deal with the hate and education. And it's a lot better as well. I mean, I go back to when I was brought up, like I say, and it's not my fault. Where I was brought up was quite rural, and there just weren't many people who weren't white where I grew up. Now that's changed over the last 25 years because immigration, the world's getting smaller, and that's why the world's becoming a better place, because people are becoming more educated and see everybody as equal, which is fantastic. But the thing that made me, football's the reason I am how I am today. Football's the reason why I am open-minded and I do see everybody as the same, because when I was growing up, I loved football. And when I look at football, whether it's Ian Wright for Arsenal, you know, whether it's Manchester United players, Dwight York, Andy Cole, whoever, black players in football have always been there in my football career, in my love for football. So that's normal to me. And I think it's sad that this morning we're having to talk about racism in football again and the way Raheem Sterling's been treated, because it's unacceptable. But I just want to throw a positive in there and say that, look, my education on diversity and everything like that has come through football. That bad incident when I was a teenager and I missed out on playing at the Forest ground because of the actions of our centre forward when we were 14. We were quite rightly withdrew from that because he was racist. And then my whole watching football as a kid all the way through, there's always been black players around. And that, to me, has shown me that, you know, that's the world we live in. And I know my kids are the same, and I know society the same today. Unfortunately, there are still people who are in their 50s, 60s, when it was far more, you know, acceptable. I hate to say it, acceptable to be racist. But also, I think a lot of it stopped. But when it comes out when people are hating. Like, oh, Sterling. What's the first thing that comes to that man's mind when he could call him anything. He could call him a cunt. He could call him a little shit. He could call him anything. But the thing he goes with is the colour of his skin. And that's hate. And you can't just, you know, you can ban him and he can learn his lesson. But there'll be 3 or 4 there'll be others at other football grounds doing it. We need to take the hate. The racism is totally unacceptable. But what's acceptable about if he doesn't say the racism? What if he just says, Sterling, you fucking little shit? You know, it's still aggression, it's still hate, and that's what I think needs to come out. But it's totally wrong. It's totally wrong. And I know from doing this for a long time that we've got people from all over the world involved in this. And Manchester United is a global fan base. You can only do what you can do, but I think education's important. And it is a minority, but it focuses everything, and you get the wider questions then around it, which I think are absolutely spot on. But that's my opinion on it. I just wanted to just put a positive spin on it and say, look, 25 years ago when I was growing up, there wasn't any black people, Asian people, Chinese people at my school. That was the school I grew up in. The only exposure I had to people of a different skin colour to me, because that was the world then where I grew up, was watching football, because I loved football. And that's how for me, my upbringing has always been accepting of everybody, because football showed me that everybody plays football. And that to me is the positive side. People this morning are talking about the negativity of football, the racism in football, and I applaud them. Let's get it out. But I just want to say the positive side of football for me is that was what educated me. That's what made me see everybody as equal, because that football was just there, everybody playing it. And so there is a positive to football as well. Anyway, thanks everybody. Drop a like on the video. It is a Manchester United versus Valencia stream as well. What else did I want to discuss? Well, I spoke about Lukaku, Pogba, Pereira. Massive week ahead for Manchester United. Really looking forward to it, and I hope you are as well. That Liverpool game, don't be scared of it. Don't be scared of it. If the players don't turn up and we get beat, we've got every right to moan. But I just think that, get them watching Rocky 4 this week. Get Jose Mourinho, get Rocky 4 out, where Adrian says you can't win. You know what, United? You can't win on Sunday. I'm telling you now, you can't win. Take that as an inspiration. Get out running in the snow. Get some theme tune on, because it's 11 against 11. And we have got internationals. And we have been terrible this season. But this is Liverpool. It matters. We're Manchester United. Let's go there. And if we fight harder than they fight, we can get something in that game. Let's not go with a negative attitude. Let's go and get something. And look, I saw somebody today playing for retweets saying, if you want us to lose to Liverpool, you're not a United fan. Well, who are you to say that anyway? If a United fan wants to say, I'd rather us lose to Liverpool because I think Mourinho will get the sack and the season's over anyway, who are you to tell somebody that they can't think like that? But, there is a but. I would say don't think like that. I respect it. If you want to do it, that's up to you. But I would say don't think like that, because it's Liverpool and it matters. And I don't think you should ever really want to lose to Liverpool. And also, I think it's a dangerous thing, because I don't think Mourinho's getting the sack if we lose to Liverpool anyway. And we may well see that factually next Sunday night or this time next week when we're doing the video, because I don't think Mourinho gets sacked if we lose to Liverpool. But Liverpool, the rivalry matters to them. It matters to us. It's the biggest game in English football. And I don't care if Neil Warnock's managing us for the game. I want to win that game. David Moyes could come in as a celebrity manager for the game. I want to win that game. It transcends the season. It matters to Liverpool because they're going for the title. But for us, what are we trying to achieve this season? Very little. But that game transcends our season. If we go to Anfield and win, doesn't really matter what else happens this season, because it's over for us. But we can say we won at Anfield. So it's a massive game for Manchester United, and we've got to go there and be up for it. Absolutely up for it. Sharath, I'm going to be playing FIFA in about 10-15 minutes. Yeah. Google bought me says, as a Liverpool fan, I think you should lose on purpose to get Jose sacked. Oh, Liverpool fans will know. I've spoke to a couple of Liverpool fans already, and they're like, look, we're really, really confident, but we can't ignore the fact that you've been to Anfield twice under Mourinho and parked the bus and got a 0-0 draw. And we need to win. A draw for us puts Man City above us again. We need to be. They want to be above City over Christmas, and they want to start getting in Man City's head. They don't want it to be a blip. They're absolutely desperate to win that game, but they are concerned because Mourinho seems to have the measure of Klopp in their United versus Liverpool years. It's a massive game for Liverpool, and they will be putting pressure on themselves. And Klopp will be under pressure. But they've got Napoli tomorrow night first, and I think they're going to win that. In fact, I'm going to do a watch-along for that on That's Football, because I think, it's a bit of a scouting mission, but also it's a big game for Liverpool. But I think they'll win that, and it's how much they put into that. So it's a massive week for Liverpool, and it's a massive week for Manchester United. And I, love, people say there's a thin line. There's not. There's a thin line between hate and respect. Manchester United and Liverpool fans pretty much hate each other in a footballing sense, but I do have a lot of respect for them because the similarities, the rivalry is very much the same, and it's based on history, it's based on competition, even going back to the arguments over the canal and things like that. It does and it will matter. And it's a massive week for Manchester United. And that's why Valencia is a big game for us, because we've got to get some momentum. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Tonight at 8 o'clock, we've got the call-in. So make sure you're joining us live at 8 o'clock tonight. Please do drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. And I'll see you all at 8 o'clock. I'm going to do a bit of FIFA on That's Football in about 15 minutes as well if you want to join me for that. But thanks everyone for watching. Really appreciate it. I'll see you all at 8 o'clock tonight.